He's the fella that said, Alex, when I was sitting there at the bar drinking a beer with also deceased Jim Tucker, who first exposed Bilderberg Group. And I'd just been let out of jail after 15 hours of being held. It was on every major newspaper, the National Post, you name it, all over CBC, that I'd been basically detained and interrogated for 15 hours for daring to fly in to cover it. And he comes over and he buys me a beer and he says, don't you realize it's an equation? The answer to 1984 is 1776. I go, what do you mean? He goes, the answer to tyranny and oppression is worldwide 1776. So don't ever want to plagiarize that fellow, even though I can't remember his name. I just felt like giving him credit. I can't remember his name. We'll look it up. There is so many great people that have come and gone, but we honor them with our memories and by standing up for the things they stood up for. All the strength of the people that came before us. And I think it's so fitting that somebody from England would understand that the answer to 1984 is 1776, both made in England. In 1984, the fictitious world that George Orwell believed the Soviets would build if they could bring communism to England. And of course, he was a member of OSS and then MI6. That was made in England. And then 1776 was made in England out of the Magna Carta in 1215. And by the ideas that Englishmen had that they were free and not slaves. And that's why when I gave a speech to over 3,000 people outside the gates of the Bilderberg Group 2 years ago in England, I explained and the crowd agreed, and there I had 3,000+ people from England there in the UK chanting the answer to 1984 is 1776. 1776 does not just belong to this republic. It belongs to anyone worldwide that wants to stand up against tyranny. Powerful information, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. And that shows how powerful ideas are, that somebody could give me that idea sitting there in a restaurant bar, and then all these years later, that is a slogan used around the world and spray painted on the subway walls. Somebody in New Zealand put it in giant bold letters on a big building they were going to demolish. It was up for months. And I had the city there in New Zealand, we did an article on it, send us a letter threatening to sue us or charge us for having the answer to 1984, 1776 spray painted, Infowars.com. It was just giant. And I explained that ideas are bulletproof and that I didn't do it, but that I saluted whoever did it. I said, they're blowing the building up. They're getting rid of the building. I mean, that's human expression. Whoever did it probably took them, all night hanging by ropes to do it. Good for them. We've got to get ideas out there. We've got to break out of this comfort zone. We've got to get animated and take action. Okay, I want to get into the tyranny, because if we don't get on the offense, we're going to be back on the defense, and they're going to come, and they're going to start shutting down your bank accounts, pulling your driver's license, not letting you work, mark of the beast, under the national ID card, implemented by the TSA that'll be on the streets of America. I told you that 10 years before they were on the streets. They're going to be everywhere. You hear about people having to get, TSA approval for a motorcycle license in Florida or to get jobs. It's going to be every job. That's their plan. They're phasing it in. Worldwide, similar systems. And if you don't, quote, pay all the income taxes, no judge or jury, you can't travel on an airplane. You can't leave your state. They're going to build internal checkpoints. You won't be able to have a job. You'll get there and you'll say, but Jim, you got 10 illegals working in here. Well, they've been given government waivers. They don't have to take them. They're exempt. But I've got to take 10 shots a year or more? Yeah, we've been told to let you go. Homeland Security, DHS, says that you don't have the proper waivers, you're going to get the shot. I mean, this is the plan. You're going to see it happen. You're going to see them take DNA at the DMV to get a car. You know how I know? It's in my first film, 1997, America Destroyed by Design. And I read Bill Clinton's executive order, and they're protesting and being arrested, refusing the thumbprint just to draw attention to it. And then it was Washington, D.C. and a few other cities through state programs that was a district program, began giving you a discount if you'd give blood for a DNA database when you get a driver's license. These are all just beta tests. Just like Austin 4 years ago started a beta test with thousands of drivers where you put a box in your car that taxes you by the mile. And then you get some other discounts and things to be part of the test. This is all lined up, ready to overnight in the scheme of time. More will start happening in a year than has happened in the previous 10. Then more will start happening in a month than happened in the previous year. More will then start happening in a week that happened in the previous year. I mean, it's all lined up. It's all actuaried, battle planned, ready. And let me tell you, it's nightmarish. We do not want to go down this road. And we have sabotaged enemy operations. We've slowed them down. We've frustrated their programs. We have decompartmentalized the military and police to a great extent. But I'm here to tell you, this is an anti-human movement by the globalists that don't even see themselves as human. They see us as Homo sapiens sapien. And they want to become these super sapiens that merge with machines. And a sapien just means wise one. And that's basically what they call themselves. So that's all coming up. We'll get into that. Buckley brought in some articles. I mean, here it is from yesterday. New York Times, Moussaoui calls Saudi prince patrons of al-Qaeda. And it gets into al-Qaeda praising the Saudi Arabian princes for helping them prepare with Stinger missiles to shoot down Air Force One. That's the New York Times. Ladies and gentlemen, the Saudi government runs ISIS, runs al-Qaeda. Does that mean that sometimes these groups don't attack Saudi Arabia to demand more goodies and more power and more weapons? Absolutely. But that's the real problem. There it is in the New York Times. Convicted terrorist claims Saudis funded al-Qaeda and knew a plot to down Air Force One. It's in the 28 pages that Saudi Arabia was running the hijackers, and they were in Saudi intelligence. Yeah, but let's go further than that. Under Clinton and Bush, they protected those hijackers when the FBI tried to stop them, when they were training, when people at the flight schools were suspicious. But what about how at least 5 of the 19 trained at U.S. military bases and were given spy training? The head of the Defense Language School, Colonel Stephen Butler, went public a week after 9/11 in the San Jose Mercury News and said, I don't know what's going on, but we train these guys at our bases. Muhammad Atta was in my class. Something's wrong. Of course. Of course. Do we know exactly what happened? No, but we know that this was allowed to happen, bare minimum. There's ABC News. Still secret. 28 pages that could change our understanding of 9/11. I've been told by the congressman on this show and military intelligence people on this show that have seen it, what it says. Senator Graham, former senator of Florida, 9/11 Commission, has said what's in it. We know what's in it. Do I get apologies? In fact, cue up that Fox News clip about the Seahawks and how they lost from so he could work for me. Just sick jokes. Basically, that equates to Alex Jones lost the Seahawks. Pardon me? What do you just said something in my ear?
Sorry about that. We rolled the clip a little early.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't even know you'd roll the clip early. It's fine. It's live radio, live TV. Now, the Pavlovian message that is sent there is Alex Jones lost the Seahawks Super Bowl. And they do the same kind of just openly Pavlovian brainwashing where I talked about this yesterday. They'll say, yeah, there's a lot of sexual crime and abuse against women on the internet. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We need to stop it. And they cut to a clip of me screaming about something completely different and then have the words hate on my face, implying Alex Jones hurts women. Buddy, I didn't settle sexual harassment cases like you. And we have the transcripts of the type of stuff you say that was recorded. So if I was you, I'd shut your fat mouth. How dare you accuse me of what you do, punk, with no proof? I'm going to throw up here in a minute. Let's go ahead and go to that clip where Alex Jones basically caused the guy to lose the Super Bowl. Here it is.
Which is exactly what a truther does. A truther sees the obvious before you. He sees the planes hitting the building, but he chose the more complicated idea because it appears edgier and it would appear daring and brave if you're actually right. But if the truthers are right, they would be heroes, but they're wrong, so they're fools.
That's the most unique assessment of this game anybody's had since it was over.
I didn't know he was going to go truther, to be honest.
And then in the full clip, they attacked me. It's the clip we played yesterday. We've had some computer problems, as I mentioned to you yesterday, where a lot of these clips are getting messed up. We're going to get to the bottom of this and start having those clips.